Lechon. Is it? Did I say it right?
No. Yeah,
Please tell me how
it's
to say
funny
it.
too because like all my Spanish friends say that. It's actually Lechon
Ah,
Kirb.
fuck. I knew it.
Yeah,
I was like, I
totally,
could.
totally cooked it. But no, yeah, it's well, most of my friends call me Kirby anyway. So Lechon Kirb, but you can call me Kirby. Yeah,
Okay. Would you like me to call you Kirby?
yeah,
Okay.
do it, man.
Man, I got so used to saying it the other way that I was just doing it. And now I got to change it all up. Gosh darn it.
Sorry, bro.
Lechon. You know that it's Spanish for something, right? You already know that.
Yeah, I know it's Spanish. I lived in Spain for a number of years, so I got to
Okay.
be fully aware. Yeah.
Where? What part in Spain?
I lived in Cadiz, like southwestern corner, like right near the Med, a small town called Rota.
Ooh,
Yeah,
beautiful.
man.
I used to
Good
live in
times.
Madrid.
What's that?
I used to live in Madrid when I was younger.
Oh yeah. I mean, in Spain's an incredible place to live. The lifestyle, the food, just the energy, the weather. It's amazing. So
The
good on you.
beaches. You ever go to the beach?
I did. I lived right at the beach. And
Nice.
I miss living at the beach because it was amazing. And also, at the time I was there, it was very cheap. Not cheap anymore, but it was maybe $300 per month. Um, like all inclusive and like internet and like fully furnished condo, 3 bedrooms. It was marble floors. It was really nice for like no money. It's not like that anymore. So sorry, guys.
Oh no.
Wish you were there. Yeah, it was amazing.
I used to watch some of those channels. It's like they have this one like Mediterranean, finding your own place over there. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, and I think it was back in that time too. They were really beautiful houses, and I was like, that's it for only like 200, 300,000 American dollars. I'm like, fuck, man, I want to go.
Yeah,
It's not like
you
that
could
now.
get hooked up back when I was around. So yeah, the times have changed, but that's all good.
Wah, wah.
Wah wah wah.
So,
Yeah.
LaShawn Curb, you go by Kirby?
Yeah, I do. Mainly because years back I started that as my gamer tags, like when I'm playing Call of Duty. So it just kind of became a thing. So yeah,
You're a Call of Duty guy?
I am an anything interesting and fun guy. Um, Sometimes looks like Call of Duty, but most of the time looks like other things. But yeah, I play Call of Duty.
Okay, we've
I
got
play
to look it
anything.
up. Do you see this right here? I don't
I
know if you
do.
recognize that.
It's not close to me. Hold on. Let me see if I can dial in my eyeballs. Yeah, of course.
He's wearing
Yeah,
a hat
man.
though. He don't wear a hat in the. It's Ghost. Yeah, I love Call of
Okay,
Duty.
man.
I almost wore my Call of Duty sweater today.
Did
Man,
you really?
it's
Are you really into Call of Duty? Did I stumble upon a gem?
so I was hardcore into Call of Duty years ago. Like I was just playing it nonstop. It was hardcore.
It's just awesome. If anyone argues that, they're stupid. Um, I play Resurgence and can't get enough of it. I had a group of buddies I would run zombies with every once in a while. I mean, gaming for me is just like it's just really enjoyable because it's one of the few things that you can do that you could like immerse yourself in a completely different world and like have camaraderie. A lot of my military buddies I was with actually will jump on and play sometimes too, so we can kind of like reconnect and run our units and stuff. Um, it's great, but I've been playing games since ColecoVision. My uncle had like a ColecoVision, and I wanted one so bad. They were terrible, but like I loved it. And then my mom eventually got me like an Atari 2600. Got an Atari 2600, but my first like real understanding of like gaming and like going to the next level was like the NES. When I got NES and Mike Tyson's Punch Out, man, or the trackpad, it was over for me. But so anything creative and fun, like that's my jam, 100%.
I love it. I love it. It does. It's immersive. You can just really
Yeah, man, you can
leave
lock
this
in.
world behind and then immerse yourself in a whole new world. You know,
In like the gamer community in general, it's just a bunch of like big ass kids wanting to have fun with their life and finding creative, awesome ways to like explore all of what this can be, other than whatever their standard way of living is. And you know, you can really just kind of expand what your belief of what's possible is inside of games. They just bring me a lot of joy. But like, to be fair, for me, gaming is a lot like martial arts in many ways for me. Because like there's all these like different styles of martial arts, so for me, gaming is one like creative, fun, playful expression. But any given day, it could be like music or film or cinematography or any tech things, right? Like any of those kinds of things, just I really gravitate to naturally, for sure.
Is that part of what you do? So what do you do? What do you work on? What are you working on lately?
So I'm really a brand strategist. So I help industry experts and brilliant organizations really take their knowledge and their skill set and turn it into like scalable systems, and really dig into the weeds of like how they're telling their story, how they're monetizing that, and really helping them get in front of their narrative and what that looks like in the world. My background when I left the Marine Corps is in multimedia, so I really trained in like graphic development, web development, um, you know, audio engineering, cinematography, and all that kind of stuff. And then when I left there, eventually I worked in software for quite a bit of time, a couple of different software companies. And I met this guy when I was really kind of locked into the early stages of my development when it came to like branding and working with organizations, because I worked on a few campaigns that got picked up by some pretty large brands, Red Bull, BET Centric, Universal, VH1. Like it's, really a great thing. But I had spent all my time becoming like a proficient operator. Like, how do I gain a good enough skill set that these other brands would want to do stuff with me? But once I achieved that level, I really started to notice they all had like these ways on the back end that they could monetize what they're doing. And I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know anything about the business. I didn't know anything about the licensing. I definitely didn't know about any way to like benefit long term from the things that I was creating. And I had one friend that really highlighted that for me, because he was also into cinematography and, had a big production studio and stuff, but he was making like millions of dollars a month in software. And I said to him one day, like, man, how are you making so much money in software? You don't even know how to do any software. And he said to me something that I'll never forget. And essentially he said, I don't need to know how to do software. I need to know some really good people who know how to do software. And I know some incredible people. And it really changed my entire like thinking about what is possible, what is scalable, what can help you make money in your sleep, what can help you like generate or expand beyond your own personal capabilities and what you're trading your time for from day to day. So yeah, I've been helping experts for a long time since then, probably going on 15 years or so, leveraging all these kinds of systems and thought processes. And it's been amazing.
How'd you know that you were good at this stuff? How'd you know this? Like,
I
some
have,
signs.
well, I think results kind of speak pretty well on your behalf, even if you don't speak very well on your own behalf. But more than anything, I had more context and lenses to look at these unique problems through. And then when I brought a solution to it, they weren't able to see those problems through the same lenses. And so when I was able to do that, it started to make a difference. But there was one pivotal moment, I guess, when it comes to that, based on your question, that I think really made a difference. And that was when I really started to understand the value of the problem that I was solving for, right? Because there's one thing, like if an organization is going to come in and they're like, hey, you're really great, we want to hire you, or we want to give you money to do something, you're there to solve the problem. Their goal is to acquire your talent and your skill set for the lowest amount of money and lowest amount of risk, right? You then there solve their problem, but you're in most cases, if you're an operator or a technical person or a creative person, you're not privy to the benefit of that problem being solved. So what does it mean for their back end? What does it mean for their revenue? What does it mean for their level of brand awareness and positioning and how much traffic and distribution they're getting? You don't get the benefit from that if you can't properly assess the value of solving that problem. And so when I gained that perspective, it really started to shift things for me in a really positive way.
Where did you start out? Where are you from?
Yeah, I grew up in Pittsburgh. I'm from Pittsburgh. I took off to the Marine Corps in '99. And then when I got out, fully done in '07, I ended up in like the DMV area. So yeah, moved to Florida in 2008 because I got a bootleg copy of Photoshop. It was absolutely kicking my ass. I had like five books on this thing trying to learn the software, and I'm like, I literally need to go back to school for this. Who was using this? How? Because all the books, they didn't tell you. They just told you what you're supposed to be doing, not how. And I was like, how am I supposed to use this? But I was already like really, really dead set on getting into like the creative space and like learning how to leverage that. I had done some stint in like real estate and mortgage stuff, and I just kind of really hated it. And it was so boring to me. I felt like my soul was dying like every day, and I was like, I have to change this. I got to do something different. But my background's multimedia mainly, and then it really shifted into brand positioning, brand perception, and helping founders and organizations monetize in different ways that that they weren't seeing. So that's where it started.
What was your specialty in the Marines?
My specialty was being a pain in the ass, I think, really.
Nailed it.
Yeah, massive pain in the ass. But I went in originally as 2311. So I went in an ammo company, shout. And then got into some fights that didn't go very well for the others. And I got the opportunity to get sent to Marine Security Forces. And that was pretty cool as well. I mean, some of it was cool. A lot of it was cool on paper and in memory, but like if I were to do it today, it probably hurt. But it was, yeah. So ammo company to Marine Security Forces. Yeah.
So then you found little by little that you're pretty good at these other types of things. And then you're like, wait a minute, I can capitalize on this.
Well, I'm a strategic thinker in general, but I had a buddy that I was serving with that when I went to that next unit sold me an old film camera. And I started just kind of taking it on like our training missions and things like that around the world with me. And I started kind of documenting our experiences and our stories and stuff. And I really started to just fall in love with it. I noticed that I had a natural skill set for seeing things in a special way. And because of that, it really laid a seed with what I thought I might enjoy once I left. So I was, and even still in the Marine Corps, I was doing other creative things too. Like I started like a singing group when we were like, I mean, it was unofficial, right? But like we were still like jamming, doing things that you wouldn't think Marines would be doing, like singing Boys to Men and Drew Hill and trying to write songs and stuff, which was just interesting to me, getting records and that kind of thing when I wasn't blowing stuff up. So yeah, I mean, I've always kind of had the creative bug, and it probably started with my mom. Honestly, she had a music focused television show growing up where she would interview like the OJs and Lionel Richie and Sammy Davis Jr. and, Lena Horne, all these kinds of superstars and stuff. And I really got to be pretty close to all of what was happening with that. So I had a sense that I might end up in some kind of creative thing, but not in the way that it ended up happening. But I'm thankful for sure.
Creative type. Is there a place where creatives can go? Next
Anywhere. There are no limitations on creatives. I'm more of a hybrid these days, to be fair. I'm always creating things. I really feel, from a soul perspective, excited when I connect with other creative minds. But generally speaking, creatives spend a lot of time being creative. And that is all, though that's a superpower and it comes with a lot of magic, you really need the rails in order for it to work. So you need the ecosystems, you need the strategic plays, you need support, you need to be able to ask for support. All right. So you need environments to help you thrive with your creative. And I think that if you don't have those things, it's much more difficult for you to gain the level of awareness that you need to really be successful over time. Like I'll give you an example. I often have conversations with like music, um, we'll say music creatives, producers and DJs, because I ended up creating like a publishing uh, company because I created some projects. Long story short, I created some projects, specifically some series of songs that I wrote about my mom passing. I didn't want somebody else to own it, so I went through all the painstaking process to own my publishing. So owning my masters, owning the publishing, learning about the IP rights and how to like establish that. And these are very nuanced processes. And if you don't really know them, essentially what can happen is you can be the creator of the entire thing and still not be the owner. You're not the claimant. So you can't really benefit from royalties and sync licensing and things like that. It's bad for positioning, but more than anything, it's bad for ownership. Most people in the music industry think like there isn't any money in music, but it's because they're trying to get money through streams. But there's tons of money in music ownership, which is why record labels thrive. So, anyways, long story short, my perspective on this is that if you have the ecosystems that can support you with the things that you're not necessarily incredible at, you can thrive as a creative. Otherwise, it's a really steep climb where it's a much harder deal.
Yeah. Speaking on that, how did you get tied in with Military Creator Con?
Yeah. So I in probably 2015, when I was leaning heavily into the marketing industry, we developed essentially virtual summits um, in the marketing space. We were helping these organizations originally solve the problem of course completion rates and engagement rates, and helping them create academies and all these kind of wonderful like digital scalable products. And we know a lot about that. Well, specifically, my partner and wife knows a lot about that. She has a doctorate of professional development and was helping to solve that problem. But as we were helping these organizations, we really figured out there's a lot we didn't know. Like there was a lot we didn't know about copywriting. There was a lot we didn't know about Facebook ads and YouTube ads and all these kinds of different things. So we put together this summit to essentially get the world's top experts to come in and train our communities on these specific things. And so what ended up happening really also kind of changed the entire way that I think about business and I go about business and even what people perceive me as, because I developed this strategy that would essentially incentivize organizations to come in as partners to fund your dream, right? Like give you distribution, promote what you're doing on their email list and pay for Facebook ads to help you grow, and then bring in, high level, knowledgeable skills people to come in and share their knowledge. So we did this as a summit, and we put many, many tens of thousands of people on our email list from that costed us nothing. It was probably around the equivalent of probably $5 million or so, maybe more now, in terms of marketing, right? And so I was like, wow, this is actually a super, super valuable thing to be able to do. If you're going to build something and have other people help you make it grow, and so that helped us a lot. But because of that, we ended up with supporting over 400 or plus speakers. Like I said, many tens of thousands of people went through the training. And then people really started asking me like, wow, how are you getting all these sponsors? Because the first year it just looked like one sponsor. The second year it looked like a NASCAR, campaign. It had so many different kinds of sponsors. And people were asking me a lot, like, how are you doing this? How are you getting people to want to even support your mission or whatever? And that became a thing. So that was now probably my most significant role with organizations, is like how they're going about their sponsorships and partnerships, and what does that structure need to look like. But it started with that.
What's your what's your role in the next Military Creator Con in April?
Yep, I'm going to be helping with sponsorships, partnerships. Yeah, I'm assisting with the partnerships and sponsorships, really helping them to define like what their missions are and how they're communicating the language of their brand and their beliefs, and then how that aligns with these other brands so that they can get the appropriate support.
So if you were talking to a sponsor, let's say right now, let's say I was a sponsor, how would you sell it to me?
Well, I wouldn't. I don't think, from my view, sponsorships and partnerships aren't about like selling anything. More than anything, it's more about congruency and alignment. And that's why it's so important to define like the who that you are and the what that you care about and what this means to who, so that when you package it up in the right way, brands can easily look at this and say, you know what, this is in alignment with our mission. You know what, this would actually help us elevate our brand profile. This would allow us to contribute to the community versus like, give to them or support them, right? We're saying that we believe the same things, we care about the same things, and we're going to take actions to show that that's true. So I would say that, yeah, I'm not super interested in selling and convincing, but I'm very much interested in creating clarity between what relationships could be symbiotic.
That was a huge answer.
Can you say more about that?
So we're looking for sponsors, right? We need to align, right? Their mission, their focus with what Military Creator Con is doing. But that could be so broad because we're about bringing creatives, and in the creative industry, you can do all kinds of things.
Well, yeah, but even sponsors have needs, right? Like they have these benchmarks that they're trying to reach. They have these like internal missions in ways that they would like to be perceived, right? Like they want to grow their awareness. They want to position their brand. They want to grow their email list. They want to drive more sales. Like they want to do these things, right? And so beneath what they're saying in most cases, those are the core drivers. They're like, okay, well, we want to partner with this community because these other brands are in this community, and we can, if we elevate our profile, now we look better. We get more attention, we get more awareness, we get more opportunities in PR and media, right? Like there's value that they get. It's just a matter of you understanding what the value is that they get that would help them separate their dollars from their bank account into whatever your initiative is, right? But it's much easier to do if you're like, hey, here's the ecosystem. This is about like military creatives. And then they're like, oh yeah, we care about that. We like that. And we see the value of it. Because ultimately, like, brands are starting to really understand that the cost of awareness and distribution is really, really hard, because they could go and use their marketing dollars or their brand dollars to go run ads, which a lot of them do. But like you are essentially just kind of borrowing attention from these other larger platforms, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, right? You're borrowing it. You're not owning the consumer relationship. And so I think we're at a really interesting pivotal point, because there's a massive opportunity for creatives and creators to partner with brands directly to create content and media, and creative projects that are almost directly funded by these brands, so that they can position themselves directly, but like with own media versus like leveraged or borrowed media. So I do think there's a massive opportunity, that we're on the rise of, and it's going to be special because there's so much noise online. There's so much like AI, chat GPT, blogs and responses, and just kind of like clutter that in many ways it's missing the texture and the messiness of being human. And so people that are able to convey their stories and really kind of, get into the weeds of what it means to be alive, they're going to be able to cut through the noise. And I don't know too many people that can do that more effectively than people with military experience. We have the most dynamic stories. We've been through so much diversity, right? Or adversity and diversity and complexity, right? And so documenting and sharing those stories in the right way, I think is going to be very attractive to many different kinds of brands.
So let's talk about who's your white whale.
Who's my white whale? What is that?
Oh, stop. You know what that means.
Tell me what that means for you.
What does that mean for me? It's a de facto. It means like, what is your biggest sponsor that you could possibly get for this event, Military Creator Con?
Um, well, to me, I can get any sponsor. Like, who's the biggest brands in the world? We can get them. Um, and I truly believe that, by the way. It's more about just like getting on the right people's radars and helping them understand why it's so beneficial to be involved. I do think there were some low hanging fruit organizations that would most likely want to support this, like USAA and Navy Federal and these kinds of brands. But I do think that there are opportunities, far beyond that. Nikes and Adidas and brands like this, right? Because let's take Nike for example. They're they're a champion brand, like they're not selling shoes. They're not even selling health. They're selling the fact that you can overcome the difficulties in your life and become the champion in your own skin. And so there is brand alignment between what military people experience and then what they're actually selling. So I do think that there's a lot of opportunity to go after brands that are, some of the most premier brands on the planet.
What about the DoD? What about like Air Force, Army? What about those? Would they be interested? You think?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I don't see why not. For us, our real job and opportunity is to make sure that the way that we're conveying what's possible for this ecosystem and what's possible for the connection between military creators and military people with military experience between these brands, if we're able to have that conversation in a way that helps people understand the value of doing that and partnering, but B, also the way that we're doing it, it should address every objection that they would possibly have that would prevent them from doing it, like timing, cost, structure, financing. Like if we can break that down, then essentially we should be able to eliminate the reasons that they would have to not do it, which makes it a no-brainer for them.
Hmm. What are you looking forward to going this year or next year?
I am, to be honest, I'm just really excited to spend time with friends, make some new friends, just have a good time, be with some military people. It's a very unique, very special community. And I'm just excited to do that. I've got great friends in Texas, and I'm excited to have them come get involved too. That were also prior military. So that's my main thing. I'm gonna go and have a good time. But one of my superpowers, I guess you could say, is just connecting with people. When I was in high school, I went to probably I guess just school in general. I went to over 14 schools before I got out of high school. So for me, just becoming the kind of person that can be just remove things out of the space that prevent you from connecting with people and going there and just allowing myself to connect and build and really be in support of all the different creative missions. I love that. I'm all about that in my life. So for me, natural alignment, and the founders are great friends of mine as well for the same reasons. They just really are pure of heart. They're out to make the world better than they found it, and they live that kind of lifestyle. And for me, it's just like whatever you need, I'm there. So I'm looking forward to just hanging out, having some good food, and sharing some stories, and then helping everyone kind of connect with the right people to help them grow.
Yeah, I like that too. That's a really good point because it's not always just like go 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 hustle hustle bustle, business talk this and that. I mean, it's also going to be a place where you can just connect with veterans. Like, hey, what you been up to? Like, what's your business? And let's chat. And that's why I'm going to be there connecting with people too. Hopefully, we can share some more ideas and stories there. I'll be doing a podcast live, and I'd love to connect with people because I love to connect with people too. I love talking and sharing ideas and visions and experiences. You never know how it's going to affect somebody in a positive way. So yeah, that like that perspective. It's not just about oh what can I do to propel myself forward in the business realm. It's also let me go and hang out with some military
Yeah, man.
people.
I mean, I'm always not always. I'm often open for for business conversations, right? Um, but ultimately, like beneath most business conversations is someone's desire to create a life that's better than the one that they have, for themselves and for their families. And so when I hear any of these conversations, that's what I think. I think they want to make their life better for their family. They see some opportunities for doing that. Maybe they have things really figured out. Maybe they don't. If there's ways that I can reduce the time that it takes them from to be able to do that, then I'm genuinely excited to be that kind of person. And yeah, that's kind of how I do business. And like I'm like, hey, there's a gap here. You're missing some components, but if you had them, the velocity that you would get from being able to then tackle your mission is going to be important to you. So how do we make that happen? In most cases, or in many cases, that is some kind of strategic partnership or connection or some way that I can help them monetize and think about their systems and their positioning. So, but I'm happy to have people do that. And I do this for brands too. like because just because you have like a super successful brand doesn't mean that you see all these lenses and holes and gaps. You know, most brands do a terrible job at like telling the stories behind why they started those brands, like the founders and why they care and why they give a shit about anyone in the first place, right? It's just about the thing that they solve for the, thing that's going to give them money, but like they're leaving a lot of opportunity on the table because they're not digging into the weeds of why it mattered to them in the first place. They don't use their language to convey that. And so when people see it, they just see brand, they don't see person they could care about. And so, yeah, I think it matters.
That's cool. There's been a lot of good business that happened just because you were just sharing experience and stories with someone. I think it's not always like, oh, I'm going there for business. We're just kind of shooting the shit. We're talking, and hey, you know what? We should network. We should hook up. And I've met some of
100%.
my closest tribesmen. We're both heading in the same direction. So I'm like, yo, I need you on my fucking team because
Yeah.
you're killing it. And that sometimes just happens naturally, right? When we're just having a regular conversation. So, you have any last minute words for anybody that is kind of on the fence to going to Military Creator Con next year?
Well, if you're on the fence, I think you're in the wrong position. Make a decision, right? It probably hurts. It probably doesn't feel good if you're on the fence, right? It's probably up your. Oh, never mind. But like, if you're thinking about going to this event, like, just go honestly, because there's so many possibilities that open up for you when you're in the room that you really can't premeditate what they are. You don't know what this is going to become for you. You don't know what this is going to mean for your business, for your life, for your friendships. And there's a ton of camaraderie that happens when you go to these events, but also like it, like I was saying earlier, just so many skilled, knowledgeable people that are already doing extraordinary things in the world that naturally and organically are going to care about you just because of what you come from, what your journey was. And so being around those kind of people is very different than just being out in the world and trying to share your ideas, So having a built-in ecosystem or people that already are going to care and want to help you solve that is actually incredible. And yeah, I mean, the last event that I went to, I was 1,000,000% sure I was going to the next one. I spoke and it was amazing, but then immediately I met all these incredible people and friendships, and I just felt immediately like I wanted to be a part of that and I wanted to help it grow. So if you're on the fence, just get yourself in the room. Your stories matter, your voice matters, and once you're able to share that, other people are going to care and help you build it.
Yep, that's a perfect message right there, because you won't get that opportunity if you don't go. That's for sure.
No, and you won't really be able to measure how big of a miss it was. You might think, "Oh, I just didn't go to that event." Events don't work like that. If you go to the right event, like it could be life changing for you, and it has been for me, and it's for many others. This event is designed to be like that by intention. So get yourself in the room.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. If you leave yourself open to opportunities, they'll come. They will come. Just have to be ready. I put the right there. Scan it, everybody. If you're interested, going, go. Just go. Get the opportunities. Military Creator Con next April. All the deets are right there. That website right there. Thank you, Kirby, for coming. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's been an
And we'll
honor.
catch you
I'm
in person.
excited to share, man.
We'll share some more in person on the live podcast show that we're going to be doing there. Yeah.
Let's do it. I'm all in. I'll be there.
All right. Cool, man. Thank you. I appreciate it, bud.
Thank you for your service, man. Appreciate you.